Hi guys, it is me Ashley and I am back with an update. Sorry that it has taken me so long. The truth of the matter is that I've started a new job, so I've been so busy with that. And also I'm in the process of transitioning from LPN to RN. It may be LVN in some states. Here in Texas we do call it LVN, but I know the majority call it LPN, which is licensed practical nurse. And I've just been studying for that, and I'm actually going on May 6th to take my board. So wish me luck, pray for me, send me some kind of good vibes or just whatever you choose to do. I need all I can get at this point. I can say that working, studying for my boards, and just spending time with close friends and family has really kept me pretty busy, which is great because my husband and I are on hold from TTCing for 3 months. Actually, we'll be all clear in June to try again. As I mentioned before, I was diagnosed with an ectopic pregnancy, which means that the embryo did not implant in my uterus. It did implant in my left fallopian tube. So, you know, I'm still having such a tough time processing it because, as I mentioned before, it was my first pregnancy and my husband and I have been together 10 years. So the baby was really wanted. We actually planned it. We did everything down to the T, but you know, God had other plans. I do have faith that we're going to be pregnant again. And I also believe that the next time the baby will implant in my uterus. But I can say that it has been pretty mind-blowing for me because I just couldn't believe that we had finally gotten pregnant after trying for so long. And then once I finally did get pregnant, it was in my fallopian tubes. But I do believe that, you know, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. So I just, you know, tell myself that maybe the timing wasn't right, and when God sees fit, then, you know, I'll be able to be a mommy. So again, I just wanted to give you guys an update, let you all know that I am still here. Also, another thing that I wanted to mention is that I noticed I do spend a little bit more time on Instagram. So if you guys are interested in my journey, my username there is TTC Baby Hampton, and that's HAMPTON. But I will also place the link in the description box if you guys are interested in following my journey on Instagram. I also have like a little timeline. That way you guys, for those who have not seen my previous videos, that way you guys can kind of get updated on what's been going on. As I mentioned, my husband and I had been trying. Well, I can't really say we've been trying for 10 years, but I can say that we have not been preventing. So within 10 years, you would think by now I would have been pregnant. But keep in mind, I was not, you know, tracking my ovulation. I didn't really know much about, you know, when I was ovulating or anything like that. But this year I have been more in tune with my body. So I'm able to kind of get an idea when I'm ovulating now. And also I use the fertility apps, which kind of gives me an idea to let me know when I'm ovulating. And I also use the Clear Blue OPK. So now that I'm more in tune, I know when I'm ovulating. So hopefully the next time that we try again, hopefully we get pregnant the first round, because this TTC journey is like really exhausting for me. I'm a person who worry a lot. My anxiety goes through the roof. I like for everything to go accordingly. Anytime things start to get out of place or doesn't go as expected, you know, I do tend to get frustrated. So I am hoping and praying that the first month that we are clear to try again, that we do get pregnant, because I just don't know if I can go through the stress of the OPKs and the tempting and checking cervical mucus and baby dancing every day during my fertile window. It's really a lot, guys. But to be quite honest, you know, if that is what I have to do to get my baby, then I am more than willing. But as I mentioned, I do want to give you guys a timeline. That way you can kind of have an idea where I'm at and what's been going on. On January 31st of this year, I did take a home pregnancy test and I found out that I was pregnant. I was so happy. However, I knew that some things weren't right. I was spotting, and even though it was my first pregnancy, I just feel like as women, we know our bodies and we know when something is not right. So I went to the ER like more times than I can even count, you know, letting them know like, hey, something is not right here. You know, of course, some nurses and doctors would tell me, well, spotting can be seen during pregnancy. Okay, I was okay with that. But then once I was told that my HCG levels weren't doubling, that's when I knew something wasn't right. And then I had really bad excruciating pain on my left side, like to the point where I couldn't move. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't walk. My husband, he had took me to the ER, and on February the 17th, I was diagnosed with ectopic pregnancy. And another thing that I would like to mention is that someone mentioned on one of my older videos that I should have continued the vitex, because I do take vitex to help me ovulate. Someone mentioned that I should have continued to take the vitex. I guess maybe thinking that if I continued taking vitex that the ectopic pregnancy could have been prevented. I do want to say that I was continuing with the vitex because I've done plenty of research, so I am well aware that once you start vitex, it is recommended to, you know, slowly wean yourself off once you find out that you're pregnant. So it's not that I had a miscarriage. A miscarriage and an ectopic pregnancy are two different things, guys. I did not lose my baby because I stopped taking vitex. The thing is that the embryo did not implant in the right place. So it was a placement thing. It didn't have anything to do with miscarriage, just to clear that up. So yeah, on February 17th, I was diagnosed with ectopic pregnancy. On February 18th, I was given the methotrexate injection. I'm so thankful that I know my body well enough and that I was persistent and I was adamant that, you know, something wasn't right and, you know, that I needed to be checked out, because I have a high pain tolerance and I have to be in really bad pain to take any pain relievers or to even go to the doctor. So with the ectopic pregnancy, the pain was so bad that my husband harried and took me to the hospital. So I kind of knew that something wasn't right, but I'm glad that I knew something wasn't right enough for me to go get it checked out, because I've heard of some girls who had an ectopic pregnancy and they kind of ignored the pain and then their fallopian tube ended up rupturing. So I'm glad that I knew my body well enough that, you know, hey, this pain doesn't seem normal. I need to go get this checked out. So with that, I was able to save my fallopian tube. I was just given the methotrexate injection to dissolve the mass, as they call it. So yeah, on March 21st, I got a negative pregnancy test. Like around March 18th, I went for my last HCG check at my doctor, and I think it was maybe like 7. And she told me once I get a negative HPT test at home, then that means that I'm pretty much in the clear and I'm no longer pregnant. So on March 21st, I did get a negative home pregnancy test. On March 29th, I felt a pain again on my left side, and something just told me, you know, check to see if you're ovulating. So this was maybe 8 days later that I got a negative HPT, and then I end up getting a positive ovulation. So that was pretty exciting, because honestly, I was not expecting to ovulate so soon. As I mentioned before, I was diagnosed with and ovulation, which means that you don't ovulate. So I have been taking myo-inositol and also vitex to help regulate my hormones, such as helping me to ovulate and also helping me to have a period. So to be quite honest, once I found out I had the ectopic pregnancy, I was so afraid that it was going to throw everything off, that I was going to have a hard time, ovulating again, and that I wasn't going to get my period no time soon. Because I've also seen girls who say that after the ectopic pregnancy and after they've gotten a negative pregnancy test, it can take anywhere from 2 to 10 weeks to get their period back. So I was so afraid. I was like, Lord, if it takes me 2 to 10 weeks to get my period and I've worked so hard to get everything regulated, that's gonna throw me all off again. So I was really surprised to have ovulated on March 29th after I had gotten a negative HPT on March 21st. On April 6th, I got my first period since the ectopic pregnancy. Guys, let me tell you, that was the worst period I have ever had in my whole entire life. It was so bad that it felt like another ectopic pregnancy. I was scared out of my mind because my husband and I, we were advised that we should wait 3 months before we conceived again, and we've been very careful as to not get pregnant. So this pain was so bad, I thought we had an accident and that I was pregnant and that it was an ectopic pregnancy again. But I did a lot of research, and I see where some girls did say that their first period after the ectopic pregnancy was painful. But guys, this was the worst period I have ever had. It was to the point to where I would be asleep and I would be in my sleep crying and screaming, and my husband would wake me up asking me what's going on. It was just really bad. And well, since the ectopic pregnancy, I have only had 1 period. I am due to get my period here again next week, and I'm just praying, fingers crossed, that I do not have to go through that again. Hopefully it was just that first period, and after that it's not as painful, because guys, that was the worst thing ever. So yeah, as I mentioned, I got my first period on April 6th. And on April 22nd, I ovulated again. Although my husband and I aren't able to conceive, I'm just excited to know that my body is, working and that it's moving in the right direction. So hopefully when June comes and we're able to try again, hopefully everything is still on the right track, such as my ovulation and my periods. Because guys, I am so anxious. I'm so ready to, try again. My husband and I, we talk about it all the time. And I'm actually the one I am the one who's very impatient. And my husband has so much patience. It's ridiculous. Sometimes it gets frustrating because I'm like, babe, I'm ready. And he's telling me, calm down, wait, things like that. But in this case, I am the one who's patient, and I'm like, we need to wait till June. I want to make sure everything is okay. That's when we're clear. And my husband is asking me, babe, do you think it's time now? Do you think we could try again now? And I have to keep reminding him, babe, we have to wait till June. It's the doctor ordered. So, yeah, we've been doing everything in our power to prevent pregnancy. I also wanted to mention that I've been taking some new things. Okay, let me make this clear. My fallopian tube, the ectopic pregnancy was on the left side in my left fallopian tube. I have not been told that my tubes are blocked or anything like that. In 2017, I did get an HSG test done, and the doctor did tell me that my tubes were clear. However, me being the worrywart that I am, I was just like, you know what? Since this ectopic pregnancy, I'm not sure if my left fallopian tube is open, if it's clear. And also in my mind, okay, I researched all the risk factors for ectopic pregnancy, and none of these things apply to me. However, I did see where, this is just something that can happen. But in my mind, I'm like, well, why did this happen? Is it that my tube was blocked? So some things that I have started taking in hopes of helping my tube to not be blocked, because I am planning to go get an HSG test done in June. I'm just hoping that when I go, they tell me my tubes are cleared and that the mass is no longer there. But some things that I'm using to help me so that I will not be told, well, your left fallopian tube is still, blocked by the mass. So what I've been taking is Serrapeptase, and it looks like this. And I'm taking this brand, which is Source Naturals, which I found on Amazon. And what I read about Serrapeptase is that it helps reduce scar tissue. So as I stated, I have not been diagnosed with blocked fallopian tubes. This is just something that I'm choosing to do in hopes that my tubes are not blocked when I go get my HSG test done. And I know some people may think, well, why are you taking this if your tubes aren't blocked? After doing much research, although Serrapeptase can be used to reduce scar tissue, it has other great benefits too. So even if, my tubes are open, I don't feel like I'm taking this for nothing, because, like, as I stated, it does have other benefits. So that's one thing that I'm taking. Another thing that I'm taking is these capsules called Fallopian Tube Formula. You have to take 6 capsules a day. Yes, I know, a lot. I know. But in my mind, to me, this is just something that's temporary. It's not like I have to take these things for the rest of my life. I'm just going to take the Fallopian Tube Formula and the Serrapeptase until June when I get my HSG test done, and I'm no longer taking those things. But with this Fallopian Tube Formula, I'm not sure if... Okay, well, the people who have probably heard of the Chinese teas, or probably those whose tubes are blocked. So if you don't have blocked fallopian tubes, you may not have a clue on what teas I'm talking about. But there are 2 Chinese teas that I noticed a lot of girls take to unblock their tubes. Well, I did careful research, and everyone that I see, well, not everyone, but mostly everyone who I see that does the tea, they say it is horrible. And I don't want to take nothing that's horrible. For me, I'm very picky. I can't stand certain smells, certain tastes. So one thing I did find is that those 2 teas comes in a capsule form. I'm not going to even try to pronounce the name of those 2 teas because I know I will butcher it. So I'll just let you know that the name of these capsules are called Fallopian Tube Formula. And some of the things that these pills help to do, it says that it reduces adhesions in scar tissue. It restores hormonal balance. It enhances immune function. And it is an anti-inflammatory. So as I mentioned again, even if my tubes aren't blocked, I feel like these capsules does have other great benefits that could work well for me. So I don't mind taking them until June. That's fine. And last but not least, another thing that I have been doing is castor oil packs. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of castor oil packs, but I've also heard such great things about that. I heard that it can also help with unblocking fallopian tubes. Although I'm a nurse, I hate taking prescribed medications. I'd rather find something the natural route and try to do that first before I take any pharmaceutical meds. So pretty much that's what I've been doing. And again, I do plan to get an HSG test done in June, and after June it'll be our 12 weeks will be up, because the doctor recommended that we wait 12 weeks before we TTC again. And I believe it's been maybe 5 weeks going on 6. So I've just been trying to keep myself busy, keep my mind off of it, because if not, I will just be really down and get myself all worked up and depressed. And this is just something that I feel like was out of my control. So is for me, it will be no benefit to get myself all worked up and, you know, all down, because it's really nothing that I can do about it. But I am ready to move on from this, because to me it has been a nightmare. I'm just ready to move on from this ectopic pregnancy deal and just, you know, TTC. I've already been thinking of names. My husband and I, we have already discussed genders. So I'm just excited. Oh, and another thing I want to mention is that at the beginning, my husband noticed that I was going through a depression. There were times that I would just lay in the bed. I would just cry all day. I wouldn't really say much. And my husband is my best friend. But during that time, you know, I really didn't have much to say to him, because I didn't feel like he understood, or I didn't feel like he was as affected as I was. My husband, he's real. I want to make sure that I that I word this the correct way. But my husband, he goes off facts. My husband is not an emotional person at all. I'm the emotional one. My husband, he's always the one with like the clear head. He's the one who gets me back in the game whenever I'm thrown off. He's the one who thinks very rational. And, you know, during that time, I was really down, and I felt like you don't understand, you know, you don't care that we went through this. And we had a long talk, and I actually realized that my husband was affected by the ectopic pregnancy as well. Although he didn't show the same emotions that I showed, that didn't necessarily mean that he wasn't affected. But it got to the point, my husband asked me if I wanted to go, you know, seek counseling, and he also offered to go through it with me, because he said that he had never seen me like that, and he didn't like that side of me, which I can admit that I've never seen that side of me, because to me it was very, you know, that was something that was really traumatic to me. I've never experienced nothing like that. So after talking to my husband, you know, and talking to my few family members who knew about it, and after praying, I was able to get myself out of the depression. And I still think about it, and there are times that I still get saddened about it, but every day gets a little bit easier. But the point of me saying this is that I've been begging my husband for a Yorkie dog for like 10 years now, and he would always be like, no, you know, who's going to help you take care of that dog? We both work, and that's just going to be too much. We're not ready for a dog right now. And so he just always blew me off whenever I asked for a Yorkie. But guys, I'm so excited. My husband not only got me one, but 2 Yorkies. So I'm going to be having 2 girl Yorkies. They are not ready yet. They're only like 4 weeks old, so of course I have to wait until they're ready to come home. But I'm so excited, you know. Hopefully you know, having the 2 Yorkies would, you know, give me something else to do and kind of just take my mind off of the pregnancy, and, you know, give me some kind of comfort. And maybe my next video I will be able to post them, because as I mentioned, I don't have them yet. They're still with their mom, but I'm really excited. I got not 1 fur baby, but 2, so that was pretty cool. And again, guys, I do notice that I am mostly on Instagram. So if you're still interested in my journey, my username there is TTC Baby Hampton. Feel free to follow me, and I will see you guys soon. Have a good one.